Hello and welcome to QUTV Talk Show. I'm Freja Hansen. The QUTV Talk Show is where we talk to significant people within the Quincy community. Today I have the Mayor of Quincy with me, Dr. Linda Moore. How are you?
I am doing great. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thank you so much for coming in. So I'll start off with asking, how is it to be Mayor of Quincy?
Well, it's been great so far. Sometimes it's overwhelming. There's so many different things to do, but every day is a new day, and it's just a great day to be in Quincy. There's never been a better time for our community than now, so I'm excited about it.
Nice. And now that we're here at Quincy University, I'm going to start with a question of how important is Quincy University for Quincy Town and its economy with all its students and faculty here?
Well, Quincy University is a big economic driver of the city. You know, it's not the largest employer, but it's the best place for our employers to recruit future employees. You know, so many of our students end up staying in Quincy because they've been here for 4 years, they get familiar with it. Maybe they've done an internship here, they like the community. It's a great place to grow up, it's a great place to raise your family. And even we're finding now that QU alums who've moved away are now thinking about coming back. So Quincy University is a huge part of our community.
Nice. And how do you secure this future growth? Like, how do you make sure?
Well, and I'm big on growth because I know expenses are going to keep going up. I know people don't want their property tax going up. The only way to keep property tax level or decrease it is by increasing the pool, so increasing the population. And so we're doing very targeted annexation, where we're looking at areas that really should be in the city, where they could benefit from being in the city, where the city would benefit by having them in the city. So we're looking at targeting annexation. We're also looking at recruiting students into jobs to keep them here in the community. So that will help. We do know that we need more housing. You know, we don't have enough entry-level housing, so we're working on that with our housing task force, trying to identify where it might work to put multi-unit complexes or even duplexes or triplexes. We're also looking at where we might need more student housing, because both QU and John would benefit if we had student housing availability in the community.
Yeah, now that we're talking about student and student safety, we have this intersection between Chestnut Street and Lynn Street. Will there be any work on a traffic light or four-way stop sign?
Probably not in terms of a light or even a stop sign. We have a traffic commission that looks at that, and they usually do traffic counts to try to guide them. And it probably doesn't make sense for us to have a stop sign or a stop light there. But there could be some other things that we might need to do to enhance that intersection, whether that's, you know, flashing caution lights or something else. So we may be looking at that in the future.
Nice. I know we also have a train going from Chicago to Quincy, and we have a flight, an airport. How important are international students for Quincy as well?
Well, and you know
Yes,
better than anybody, sometimes getting to Quincy hasn't always been that easy. You know, we have a lot of students who fly into St. Louis and have friends and they drive up with friends, but when you're new to Quincy University, you don't know about those options. So it's great that we now have a flight coming right in here to Quincy on a bigger jet, not a little 7-passenger plane.
Yeah.
And if we then have flights to both Nashville and Chicago, that gives us 2 opportunities for students to connect and get here by flight. Or the Amtrak, you know, from Chicago is also great. And I've been talking to them to make sure that they don't substitute a train for a bus or a bus for a train. Having that daily train service is very important.
As a mayor, what would you say is the most memorable experience for you here at Quincy University?
Oh gosh, there have been a lot of them. Some that I wouldn't want to talk about on air, but probably the most memorable was during my years at QU, our men's soccer team was national champions for 4 years straight. And going to those national championship games, a couple of them were in Springfield, so it was close enough. A lot of people in Quincy could go. That was just really a lot of fun. And then, of course, starting the women's team here, you know, that was big because we wanted to have what the men have. and we ran into a lot of obstacles. You know, people that told us, no, women shouldn't play soccer, or, you know, women don't need to play sports, or you can't wear the brown and white, or you can't use the Hawk name, all kinds of obstacles. But we overcame them, and we had a good group of leaders who we worked together to make it happen.
So what would you say makes Quincy unique and different from other colleges?
Well, I actually asked that question to students at the scholarship lunch today, and I was pleased that 2 of the 4 said opportunity. And one of them happens to be interning in the state's attorney's office. That's unheard of at a college our size. Usually you have to be a Big Ten school to even get an interview, you know. And we had another student who is hoping to do an internship with a state legislator. We have another one who I talked to her about the Father Tolton Shrine that we're hoping to have at St. Boniface. And another one is looking at airport aviation. So we might be in need of an intern there. The opportunities are boundless here at Quincy University. I know for me, I had those opportunities as a student, and those opportunities are possible because of our faculty and staff. You know, the faculty and staff really have a great way of knowing what you're capable of as a student and connecting you with the right people for those internships or for possible jobs after college. So the opportunities that you have here at Quincy University are pretty amazing.
That sounds good. Okay, so last question I have for you. What is your favorite sport here at QU?
All of them.
All of them?
I love soccer,
Yeah.
but I also love baseball. You know, I love basketball. You know, my parents always loved basketball, so taking them to basketball games over the winter was always fun. I also love volleyball, you know, and we've had some great volleyball teams. I really didn't know much about lacrosse until my niece and nephew played down in Atlanta, and I loved watching them play. So then when QU got lacrosse, you know, I've been very fond of trying to keep up with the teams and watch their games as well. I think being an athlete at Quincy University has such a tremendous, not just an opportunity, but it's almost a pride in the university. When you're connected to a team at QU, you're connected to QU, and that connects you to Quincy. And so no matter what team you play for, I think you are a great asset to not just the university, but to the entire community.
Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you for having me. This is always fun.
Yeah, it was wonderful.
Thank you.
Yeah. That was everything we had today for today's QUTV talk show. Thank you for watching. For more, tune in on QUmedia.net and our social media platforms such as Facebook and Instagram. Have a great day.